The recessed meeting of August 4th, 2025 will now reconvene. It is now 9:03 a.m. And today is August 5th. No, 6th, sorry. So yesterday was August 5th. Okay, I'm not happy with my voice today, but I'm not singing for you, so you all can be happy about that. So this morning, the Housing and Land Use Committee meeting will now come to order. I'm Tasha Kama, Chair of the HLU Committee. And yesterday we recessed our meeting, and our resources are all here. They've all been vetted. They've all been okie dokied. And so we're going to continue today with our discussion that we had yesterday. So what else do I have to say, James? I forgot.
I think that's everything, Chair.
Okay.
Maybe you could just introduce, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So we're going to do roll call now, and we're going to start with Chair Lee. Do we have a new greeting this morning?
No, it's the same one since we're reconvening, Malua Lele, and I'm home alone in my workspace. Looking forward to your meeting. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. And we're going to continue with our Council Vice Chair. Good morning. Malua Lele.
Good morning, everybody. I'm glad that we're continuing this meeting expeditiously. I look forward to a productive meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. And we're going to continue on with Member Paulton. Was she going to be here today, did she say? Wasn't sure. But when she comes, we'll go ahead and acknowledge her once more. And we're going to say aloha kakahiaka and malua lele to Councilmember Gabe Johnson.
Lily, Chair, council members, community members, I'm alone in my side of my workspace, and I'm here and ready to work. Mahalo, Chair.
Thank you. And we're going to say aloha kakahiaka and malua lele to Councilmember Tom Cook.
Aloha kakahiaka, molo ele. Good morning, and looking forward to today's meeting, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to say aloha kakahiaka and malua lele to Councilmember Shane Sinensi.
Aloha kakahiaka, Chair, and malu elele.
Thank you. And so I'm going to excuse for now Member Nohe U'u Hodgins, Councilmember Tamara Paulton, and Councilmember Kiani Rollins Fernandez. So we're going to continue on. So we left off yesterday with looking at the responses from our proponent, and we're looking at what we're, the item in Granicus 17, which is the exhibits. So did we all get a copy of that, or did you copy it out, or are you just looking at it from where you're at? I want to make sure we're all on the same page, because we're going to use that exhibit to follow today as our working document.
Chair.
Did you change it somehow, Mr. Chanel?
I'm sorry, Chair, could you refer to the document again?
Oh, okay. This is what you had sent back to us in your exemptions.
Oh, right, the red line of
Exhibit
the
A.
exemptions, yeah.
It's
I
Exhibit A,
understand.
and it's the red lined items.
Is that on
No,
Granicus?
That's Granicus number 17.
We
Thank you,
haven't
Chair.
changed it since I transmitted it.
None.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the document we're going to be working off of today. So yesterday I think we took care of number 1, correct, peoples? And
real
we
copy.
didn't do anything, but we just said we're okay with it, right? Let me see. Chair Lee and Mr. Johnson both online, okay. And so I think the one that I want to take on next is from, and I'm going to wait for Member Paulton to get situated. So, while she's on her way down, we're looking at the Exhibit A from Mr. Chanel's response to us, which is in item 17 in Granicus. So while you're waiting to set up, Ms. Bolton, in the meantime, I wanted to go back and revisit the exemption A, item C, Title 12, Maui County Code, streets, sidewalks, and public places, because I think that's going to take us a while. And then what I'd like to do, members, is hopefully we take care of all of our exemptions today, and if there are no other business that we could either pass this or not pass this or modify this in some way by the end of noon today, if that works with everybody. If not, we'll have to probably for another recess date. Okay, so is member Director Molina on the line, James?
Yes, Chair.
Okay. So while we all had a great night's sleep, Mr. Schnell and Public Works, did we come up with any miraculous ideas or solutions for number C, 1, 2, 2, and 2?
I heard the director of the Maui Department of Transportation talk about the bus hub and the exits and entrances, pathways. And I don't want to mischaracterize what he stated, but I believe the driveway we're talking about that would be close to the driveway of the project, the fire access driveway, the bus hub driveway is the entrance and the exit from the other side. So if the Maui Department of Transportation director is here or present, I mean, I don't want to mischaracterize what he said, but I believe he said they could work something out.
Is DOT here? I don't think so, right?
Apologies, Chair, we don't see a representative from the Maui Department of Transportation
Yeah.
online, but we can reach out.
Okay. But I understood him to say that the entrance is to the bus hub is closer to the Kaumanu Shopping Center side, and the exit to the bus hub is on the Kahului Shopping Center side. So if you know what we're talking about, that you've got the two malls in between the bus hub, and you're entering from one end, and then you exit from the opposite end. And that's what, I know you're not mischaracterizing, but that's what I heard him say yesterday. And so it's clear to all of us, I think. So you can continue and proceed.
No, that's, we haven't talked to the director since the hearing yesterday, and, yeah, we're at the same spot, I think. Yeah.
I'm sorry, what was that, Mr. Schnell?
We have not talked to the director of the Maui Department of Transportation since yesterday, so we're leaving off at the same spot we were yesterday.
Okay, so you're not moved, you haven't moved from what you decided in this document. You're gonna keep your entry at the same place.
Well, that's the most, I mean, there is virtually no other place to be able to put a driveway that would serve as a fire access driveway. And if the state, needs to convert that into a driveway for their civic center building in the future, whenever that may be, if we move the driveway, they would have no building area. If, there would be no usable building area for their building.
Member Bolton?
Just with all due respect, the need right now is housing, safe housing. I don't hear anybody calling out for office space, so if they need to move the driveway so the housing can be safe, I'm okay with that. I don't know that this project make or break on the office space,
No, the 201H, this project for affordable housing is solely for the affordable housing portion. If in the future the state wants to come in for their office building, they're not requesting any 201H exemptions. They're not part of this application.
And I mean, not that I like it, but if the zoning for this is, what did you say, 90 feet? Maybe you can have the parking structure underneath the office building or something like that. and make it a little bit taller if they're committed to the office building in this space. But, one of the low-income projects in Lahaina, Kaiaulu, Kukuya, they've put dividers so people don't make a left turn. It's a right in, right out. Every day when I drive back into Lahaina, people are waiting in the middle, the median, and traffic coming into Lahaina, and they're still making left-hand turns. So I'm not characterizing a group of people, but I think entry and exit into low to moderate income or low-income projects needs to be as safe as possible, because not everyone follows the traffic laws. And if a county bus and a person collide, or people collide in a automobile, that's the worst thing that could happen to us as the county. The liability is there, and we're getting signals from Public Works that they don't feel it's safe. So I mean, safety, sidewalks, entry, exit, that's paramount. The office building space, if they gotta redesign it, if they gotta do it somewhere else, that's not our priority. Safety of our residents is our priority. And we're looking at an area that already has a large number of senior housing, a large number of like other housing coming up, and it's in the tsunami inundation zone. And we've seen already in the last week how unprepared we are for tsunami evacuation, how unprepared we are for even fire evacuation in a resort area. So, I mean, with these things staring at us in the face, just in the last 2 weeks, we gotta make sure that the entry and exit is as safe as possible. And if the deal breaker is the office building, we're not in a critical need of office space. I don't know where they're getting the money to build the office building, but maybe they should look into rental. Maybe they can buy One Main Plaza, I'm not sure. But the office space, and I don't know why they call it a civic, should not compromise the safety of our residents.
Member Sinansi?
Mahalo, Chair, and my apologies. Just for clarification, so for Member Polton, you're speaking to the Civic Center that is across the project area?
If you look at the document
Yes.
on page GO.4, the 5-level Civic Center building, they clarified yesterday, was meant to be an office building. And then the Civic Center parking structure is office parking.
As office parking.
It's not a civic center in like Lahaina Civic Center.
And we're talking about the access entry onto Kane Street.
No, the entrance, right, Mr. Chanel?
Access.
We're discussing the fire access lane for the affordable housing that would exit on Vavau Street.
Oh, got it. Okay. I mean, this is, for me, when I looked at this, Chair, is such a great plan, and it took a lot of creative minds to create it, to come up with this plan. And so while we're still in the conceptual stages, I mean, we're not into the conceptual, we're ready to break ground. I mean, if we're able to just make those minor changes that could help, I mean, this would be the time prior to breaking ground. If it needs to be a couple parking positions moved to create another access, I mean, I'm sure looking at this plan, we can come up with some, hopefully some easier, while we're here, before we start laying concrete and metal, if we can make those changes now. I'm open to that, Chair. Thank you.
Would you like to respond to Mr. Sinansi, Mr. Chanel?
No, I didn't know that was a question. Thank you for your thoughts on that, yeah.
Yep, thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Yes, members, Seymour.
So this, maybe HHFDC would be able to clarify, but I thought that this housing project is all part of the greater plans for what HHFDC and the state is trying to do, provide housing. When this was talked about in bigger terms, and not this meeting, that housing and the office and this whole structure that is being piecemealed now is all part of a master plan for the state to have offices. And I think somehow in my memory, and I could be wrong, I don't know, maybe Carla might remember, but that whole across the street, the post office, that exchange of land with the post office came with us getting the bus hub property in Kahului. And then the state was planning on building maybe across the street something else for judiciary, but the old post office. And that this property that we're talking about, the housing, was part of this bigger plan that the state had, of which not on the agenda, which is the civic complex, right?
Yeah.
So it's almost like we can approve what we have before us because we need to do this by September 11th, 45 days. But the other things that may be obstructions is really not on the agenda, but yet part of it.
That's part of the problem.
That's the problem. So I look for, guidance as to how do we handle this, Corp Council, because we don't want to stop this project from happening because yes, we all want housing. But if objections are coming, like a good one that we left with, and we're going to have to revisit, is this complete streets thing, which is all part of this, but yet we should find out maybe from the developers if they have included portions of it because it's safe.
Chair,
Yes, Mr. Molina?
Jordan with Public
Yes.
Works. Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity. I want to chime in a little to help kind of
Yes.
set some context. So for at least Public Works, they came in and, well, they have a traffic assessment from 2021 that was part of their EA that was published in 22. And that contemplated the entirety of the site development. Part of the confusion here is they're parceling out the work on the site because one half is HHFDC and one side is DAGS, and they're not exactly in alignment. And so this is where we're getting this conflict with these proposed improvements. And so like the traffic study from 21 doesn't address this concern about the proximity of the driveways in any matter. So this is a new issue. It also talks about, the representation that, which might be correct, that the housing project doesn't intend to use it for full access, but the whole site development intends to be using it for full access. And so that's creating some confusion about what it is that we're looking at here today. And so I just wanted to provide that context because it is piecemealed and it is, to some extent inconsistent with what was represented early on. And then speaking particularly to the complete streets, they had a different consultant doing the EA work. There was more outreach and coordination with Public Works on what those county street improvements were. This project team was not a part of that. So when they say they don't have knowledge of the complete streets, it's because they don't, but it's because, again, it's being piecemealed and you don't have that continuity, which is problematic because it's one site. It's not two separate parcels that can be done independently. It's one site, all the on-site infrastructure supports both, but we have this piecemeal proposal before us today. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Molina.
Randy's hand is up from HHFDC.
Yeah, Mr. Chu has his hand up, so we're going to call on you, Mr. Chu. Mr.
He's muted.
Can you hear us, Mr. Chu?
He has to unmute.
He's like frozen.
Oh, Mr. Chu, can you, yeah, he's not frozen. Can you unmute your microphone?
Oh, he's not frozen.
Maybe he's raising his hand because he can't hear.
Can you hear us, Mr. Chu? He doesn't look like it.
It's okay, he's not a member.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair
Okay.
Kama.
Yes.
Members
Thank
of the
you.
council. I'd like to say that Councilmember Sugimura was correct, that this project was based as a, oh, I'm muted?
You're fine,
Can you hear me now?
yes.
We can hear you now. Go ahead.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes.
can hear you.
Um, Okay. Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, great. The concept for the Kahalui, yes, I can hear you. Yes, the concept of the Kahalui Civic Center.
Who's talking to you? Don't listen
There's
to
a
that
lot of
person.
delay. He's getting lagged.
It's
There's
delayed.
Somebody's talking to him.
Oh, okay.
It's,
Okay. Okay, okay. Okay, thank you. Well, this project was always meant to be a mixed-use project where there would be a residential component and a civic center component.
you know what? I'm not sure what's going on, but
He can hear you delayed.
yeah.
Oh,
Mr. Chu,
delay.
you're hearing me in delay, so let's take a recess, shall we?
Okay.
We're gonna take a recess, Mr. Chu, and figure out what's going on. So we're gonna be in recess till 9:30. HLU is now in recess.
1, go.
The recess meeting of the HLU committee on August 6th is now reconvened. It is now 9:35 a.m. And we left off with, let me see,
Randy.
yes, Mr. Chu. We can't hear you, Mr. Chu.
Apologies, Randy, we can't hear you. On your phone, you can press *6, and that should unmute yourself.
Mr. Chu, we cannot hear you. *6?
Chair,
Chair Kama,
Okay,
committee members.
Yes.
Please accept my apologies for the technical difficulties here. Something just kind of went haywire on our side, but I think we got it fixed.
Okay,
thank
good.
you.
Well, I would like to restate what I had said earlier.
Yep.
Councilmember Sugimura is correct that this project was originally intended to be a mixed-use project where there would be a residential component and a civic center component. This is quite a complicated exchange project, whereas the land for this project is owned by HHFTC, and we permitted the transit hub to be located on the property, and in exchange that the post office site in Wailuku was to, in the future, get permitted to have the state build a office tower there also. The Civic Center component is office spaces, but it was considering the adult education school, as well as they were considering moving the library there at one point in time. So it's a master planned project, being the residential is one component and the Civic Center a second component. And the third component also is the transit center. So it was planned in that fashion. The action for you today is regarding the residential component. They are moving along quite rapidly on this because we wanted to get the housing built as soon as we could. DAGS, on the other hand, needs to get funding for their project, so they're timing-wise, they are behind the residential component. And I think the issue about the driveway is that, yes, the residential component needs it for fire access. The DAGS component needs it for access for their parking structure, for their facility. So I think it's a kind of a timing thing right now. But again, the action before you is for the residential component. If we may suggest that, the details for the driveway has not been fully worked out yet because DAGS hasn't solidified their plans. We ask that we get permission to keep working on it, to have the engineers and architects resolve whatever concerns they have so we can come up with a plan that is agreeable by everyone. Thank you.
Member Seymour.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chu, for providing that. And you are correct. Before us today is this housing project. So because DAGS and the state still has to finish off their project, thanks for allowing us to build the bus hub, which is basically done. And today we have the housing project, and we heard from Department of Public Works the concern about complete street safety, and that's a whole nother discussion. But to do the project today, can we approve it based upon the information that we have and ask the state when they do their final plans for the DAGS portion that they include this, whatever is needed for public safety, as part of their negotiation with the legislature when the appropriate time comes. Another concern, which is like another part of today's discussion and separate, is what Department of Public Works is saying about complete streets. So I don't know if that also is tied into what DAGS is doing, or, you know, this project is separate, but so your question to you, Mr. Chu, is can portions of what we're asking be completed whenever DAGS is and not interfere with this project? Because I think this project is very important. It's getting cloudy by these requirements.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. When the details are for the DAGS project is more formalized, they can identify the exact location for the driveway, and in consultation with both the Department of Transportation and DPW. So, you know, everyone's comments is considered.
And DAGS can pay for it, or the state can pay for it, because it's going to delay this project from happening.
Correct.
Okay.
The driveway would be on the DAGS portion of the property.
Okay. So that's one thing solved. And then the complete streets portion, Mr. Chu, do you have a thought on that? The discussion that came up yesterday afternoon with Public Works.
Well,
separate?
I believe that the complete streets component needs to be determined, or determine what are the requirements for that. If DPW and EAH can work together to come up with what is required, then possibly it can be incorporated as part of the design.
Today.
Yes.
Okay, it's separate then. Thank you.
Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, Chair. Just to let you know, there are Chair Lee had her hand up as well as Councilmember Paul.
Thank you.
You know, I'd like to speak to Director Molina on a suggestion I would have is, what if the council removed the exemptions of C1, 2, and 3 and allow the department to work with them to find that middle ground and just not just exempt everything, because I think there is work. Director, what do you think if we remove the exemptions of C1, 2, and 3, and you guys go into talks with them to sort out all the things that they're concerned about and the schedule of it all, the budget scheduling and everything? Director Molina?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Member Johnson. I guess a couple of things to set the stage for where these comments come from. You know, this is one project, and the state is choosing to parcel out its development. But the problem is they're relying on a single system of on-site improvements, but are trying to parcel out that. And they're not laying out the site. So like the bus hub is laid out in a way it's independent from the rest of the site. The state's not doing that here. They're trying to commingle, which I get it, right? Cost savings and all that, but they're not basically they're not improving the site to be ready for vertical. And they're trying to get the council to let them bypass that. And so that's the concern here. To us, it's one project. And they're trying to get out of, which I get, again, the cost of housing and all that. My concern would be, we don't know if the DAGS project is going to come through or not. And so pushing it onto DAGS may result in never getting these improvements. Going through the housing, and as you mentioned, us being an investor, I think gives us a better opportunity to ensure these improvements go in. Now, as far as my experience in affordable housing projects, what becomes critical for the financing is getting people into units within those scheduling deadlines, which can be complicated by offsite improvements. And that is where I think we can work with them to allow those schedules to not be in conflict, so they can preserve the financing they need for the vertical aspects while ensuring we get the offsite improvements that benefit the project. Thank you.
So you, just to clarify, you would recommend removing the exemptions of C1, 2, and 3?
Correct. That, yeah. So that's in my comments that they should provide those and allow us, the department, the discretion to work with them on the requirements and timing of delivering those improvements to not compromise, the financing for the project. Thank you.
That's really the goal. We don't want to, hurt the project and make it not pencil out and make them miss deadlines, but we do want to have sidewalks for our community, shaded trees, all the things that were mentioned. It doesn't mean we don't, you guys are forced to do it. It means that let's work together with Director Molina and his department so that everyone's needs are met. There should be some coming together on this. So I heard my time. And Chair, that would be my recommendations is remove the exemption of C1, 2, and 3. Thank you, Chair.
I want to ask you a question, Mr. Johnson. Even if we delete that, we should say something about the developer working with the department and allowing the department, I guess, to maybe take lead on how this should work and how it should look, so that we do come out with
Right.
complete and safe streets.
I'm not sure it would be in an exemption, but maybe, Director, is there a place you would want it to say that? Or, we want to make sure that, it's known, it's stated, it's something we will do, you guys will work with them? The
Right.
intent, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so I mean, the exemption would be from the 1625 requirement for those improvements that are triggered with their building. And basically to allow the department to, deviate from standards, as we determine to accommodate the project. And so that would be kind of the extent of the exemption is maintain the requirements, allow us to modify those standards as needed to facilitate the project. And I guess maybe I would also offer, because, the representation is we're going to try to help fund this, that is not set in stone at this point. And so perhaps allowing an out for the project, should that funding not materialize, that they're going to be able to continue to proceed with the housing work without being caught in, a technicality on the county side. Thank you.
Yeah, there's language in there somewhere in what you just stated, maintain requirements with amendments. I don't know, I will let the lawyers speak on it, but I think that would be something that you said, Director Moon, kind of makes sense, that maintain with amendments. Is that the language? Yeah, that's your words. Does that would suffice?
Yeah, correct. I mean, that's the gist of it. I can work with staff to iron out the specific wording of that if the concept is agreed to. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Excuse me, Chair.
Thank you. I see other hands up, and I'll back up.
Carla?
Staff would just note that for C1, the exemption from the driveway permit and inspection fees, I believe Public Works had no objection to that. I think that's already provided under the code for this project.
So we'll keep 2, we'll keep 1 and delete 2.
And I believe we're also constrained by Act 294 from reducing fee waivers. So I believe at minimum that we would not want to remove that particular exemption.
You don't want to remove that. exemption.
Yeah,
Okay, I think Member Lee and then Member.
Lee?
Wilson.
thank you, Chair. Okay, so I'm wondering why we have to consider the future development with regard to the office building. I think we should focus only on the housing
Mm-hmm.
and not worry about, that's their problem in the future. It's their problem. And secondly, any requirements that are deemed necessary and appropriate to that next phase can be handled by Public Works because they don't get automatic exemptions for that portion of the project. So if we just concentrate on the housing project and what our recommendations are, because we can't make changes apparently, I think that's what we should do, and not try and accommodate and try and anticipate things that would benefit the next phase of their project, which, by the way, could be 30 years from now. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Member Paulton?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Member Lee. I think I'm in agreement, and in that case, the fire department access through should be moved to be in compliance with Public Works, what they said, and Department of Transportation concerns for it being too close to the bus hub. And I feel like that can be accomplished if whenever they do their civic center, they make the same kind of design where it's 6 stories with the bottom story being parking, and they can have their entrance more over. So my question would be for Director Molina, if you had a problem at the entrance of Vival Street to the permanent secondary fire department access through the civic center, how far does it need to be from the transit center towards Connie Street? Because we're not discussing the civic center, right? And so if the problem is it's too close to the existing Kahului Transit Center, just move it over and they can accommodate it whenever they decide to build it, like Charlie said.
Yeah, and I guess to clarify, it's not necessarily that it must move, but it hasn't been evaluated. And so that's our concern. Like, given the dynamics of how the traffic moves through that area, it could be acceptable as proposed. But because we're getting this piecemeal proposal of, okay, it's going to behave one way and then it's going to behave another way, that's where we have kind of lack of clarity on being able to make a determination on what is appropriate. And we don't have the traffic evaluation in hand to support that at this point. And so it's more of a question of we need to vet this a bit more to alleviate concerns than it must be moved. Just to clarify, thank you.
So if we don't have the study, then where would you put it without a study? Like,
we would be asking the project to provide that information in their proposal to us to review and comment.
for the project team, when is the permanent secondary fire department access going to be constructed?
We understand that the fire department requires it before occupancy. So as part of the construction of the project.
And so there's no plans on no studies on traffic flow there, except for the one from 2021?
Yeah, Member Paulton, they did provide a memo update saying basically they don't have to change anything from the 21 study. But again, that 21 study was absent an evaluation of this intersection conflict.
The conflict between the transit center and the fire access, as well as the civic center access?
Correct. And there's other inconsistencies with what that 21 study said and what the project is currently proposing. And so that's, we need to have a detailed conversation with them, which hasn't happened. And that's our concern for these blanket exemptions, because neither side really has awareness of what we're asking to exempt. We're just exempting concept.
So then the question, Director Molina, is when the future office buildings get built, they don't have a right to ask for those exemptions. They don't have a right to ask for unsafe conditions. So could it be addressed at that time?
It could. I guess just the awareness that I want council to have is the bulk of the impact and the need is going to be from the housing project. And so these facilities more particularly support the housing. And like Chair Lee said, could be 30 years, could be never. And so it's not guaranteed that we can rely on the DAGS project to provide these facilities for the residents.
What is the civic center parking and site gonna look like during housing construction? Just gravel?
We would use it as a staging yard during the construction, and then afterwards we are to maintain it. So if to prevent erosion, that kind of thing,
Just gravel and cut any weeds kind of thing?
pretty much.
So, I mean, people may end up parking there. You may have
And
to,
we wouldn't want it to be used for that purpose because it's housing next door. And if it becomes an attractive nuisance or it attracts other things that aren't desirable or compatible with the housing, I mean, we want to maintain it as a yeah.
so,
Right.
so you're gonna have security then?
Not security per se, but we do have the resident manager, so we have eyes on the site to keep it safe for our residents.
Good luck with that. Thank you.
Yes, Member Sinensi.
Thank you, Chair. For the project team, there was discussion about the proclamation about access onto Ka'aumanu Avenue. Can you speak to that, the proclamation?
Councilmember, I'm not sure what you're referring to for the proclamation. Was it the governor's proclamation?
That you couldn't access from the site onto Ka'ahumanu Avenue directly.
There's a historic stone wall fronting.
Oh, so we cannot move the stone wall.
Yeah, there is that historic stone wall. There is also in the executive order a restriction against having driveway access onto Ka'ahumanu.
Even if it's for fire evacuation.
It's a restriction against access.
Of the
yeah.
EOF?
I mean, even if
Correct.
lives are at stake, it's a restriction.
It's a short wall.
Okay, because it just seems that when you're looking at the site plan, you've got all these roads that surround the site, but everybody's going to be funneling through to the back of the site from the front, and then going either out to Kane or Vavao Street in this case.
Correct. It's in the executive order for this project, for this property site, and is one of the reasons why the fire department has this temporary secondary fire access requirement for the housing.
I guess to save lives, you can just leave your car and then just access the street. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I have a question. So, at the end of, towards the end of Kane and Vivao, the stone wall actually ends somewhere towards the end of Kane, maybe closer to Vivao. But continuing on, there's no stone wall, right? So could you not access, huh? Yeah, yeah.
It wraps around Kahumanu and continues on Connie Street for a while. But,
Yeah.
I mean,
But
not-
then there's a
not to-
parcel, right, that just has no wall. It's pretty much open,
Correct.
right? Did you consider that as an entrance or for the fire or for whatever?
So we're talking about Connie Street, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, so we do have an access on Connie Street, but we don't have
closer
two
to the
access.
wall or farther?
It's about mid-block between Vavao and Kahumanu.
Yeah. So that's one of your entrances, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I was trying to think about something else, but thank you. Okay. Any other questions, members? Okay, so I think we're trying to look for language for C2, right? So, kind of like
Chair,
Ms.
point of information on the C2.
Yeah.
Yesterday, we were looking at 3, and then we were looking at the one in there. Are we on Granicus 17
Yes.
version? Okay.
Yeah. So number one, Carla had reminded us that Public Works was okay with that, right? And then I think we're looking at 2 right now. And then 3, I'm not sure if we want to talk about the trees and things like that after we're done with 2, but. So who's supposed to come up with the verbiage for number 2? Is that going to be staff? James? The verbiage for number 2.
Chair, I think staff just needs more clarity on the direction that the committee is proposing to do with number 2, and we can take a look at that. I think Director Molina also offered to perhaps touch base with us, and we can check with him as well.
So, Mr. Molina, could you do that with our staff? Work with them on the language for number 2 so that it's clear and it actually gives guidance and direction.
Yes, Chair, I'll make myself available.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so that's that for number 2, C2. Let's go to 3 since we're already on item C. Did we say okay to number 3, or we still wanted trees? I thought we said
Chair,
wanted trees.
I'm not
Mr.
okay with it.
Johnson.
I have a question regarding number 3, but if Member Johnson wanted to go first.
Ask the question. You guys know my opinion on this, but go ahead. I'll back down for now.
On the first page of the design package, it shows, I think, the Connie Street in full shadow. Is that meant to be early morning? Is it like the shadow is on Connie Street in the morning?
Yeah,
So
I believe that would be true, yeah.
In the afternoon is when it would be unshaded. Also, the rendering around the corner of Ka'ahumanu and Connie Street, I don't necessarily see the historic wall.
Yeah, we've since redone that rendering after we found out we could preserve the wall. So we have a new version of the rendering with the wall wrapping around. It's not in your package, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Can we get that rendering, please?
So the Connie Street in the afternoon is not gonna be shaded. So, I mean, if we're making a walkable area, because obviously we don't have enough parking for plenty cars, I guess, people would prefer to walk if it's like a shaded area. I mean, it looks like great walking in the early morning when you're in the shade, but then when the sun is coming from the other direction, when most kids are coming home from school and whatnot, full sun. But you said there's power lines on Connie Street.
The primary power line, the large power lines are along Kahumanu, but there are, smaller level power lines along Connie Street.
Would it be possible to plant the trees elsewhere and have like awnings over the sidewalk?
So I think you have a landscape plan in your package. I don't have it in front of me, but I don't have your package in front of me. But if you could refer to a landscape plan, it would probably be numbered sheet L1.1. And you can see we have trees planted on the property, towards the property line, but not in the public right-of-way.
And this rendering L1.1 is memorialized somewhere, like it's a requirement, or it's just a picture? Because if we're exempting from the tree landscaping requirement, is this what you're committing to?
Yes. I mean, the problem with the street tree requirement is it's within the right-of-way. So the trees that are shown here are on the property, outside of the right-of-way.
And it's a commitment for what you, the picture is a commitment to happen.
Right. It still has to go through the building permit process to be approved, but that's what we're prepared to do.
Oh, okay. I am pretty much okay with it because there's trees, it's just not in the right of way. I'll yield to Member Johnson.
Mr. Johnson?
Thank you, Chair. Some of the things I mentioned yesterday still hold true. The idea that this is state land and the state office of DLNR has a goal of 35% tree canopy cover, and this area is 3%. If you look at the tree canopy viewer, a map that's on the DLNR website, you can simply Google DLNR tree canopy viewer, and it'll show you the maps. It's GIS. I think the idea that there are trees, I'm curious of what types of trees, because, you know, some trees offer more shade than others. So let's start with that. Do you guys have a species of trees you're considering?
On L1.1, it says Manele tree, Joannes palm, Geiger tree, and tulip wood tree. Is that the entirety of the trees?
That's correct. That's what's represented on L1.1, yes.
And I seen the map, and is it going to be over the hardscapes in public areas? What about your parking lots?
So within the parking lot, you can see that there are some trees within the parking lot. A lot of the parking lot is underneath the buildings too, because parking is the entire first floor. Residential is above the parking lot on the second floor. But in the pukas where that's not part of the building, there are trees in the parking lot.
Okay, I want to ask Director Molina in regards to burying the power lines, because maybe if the concern is that you can't have trees by the power lines, I understand that. So burying power lines is something the county could consider. I'd like to hear Director Molina on that. Director.
Sorry, I'm finding my window. There we go. Yeah, so again, I mean, these are typical conflicts that we have to navigate with projects. And so we often have to apply flexibility in how we apply these requirements, because you can't just power through all the time. Or often, there's multiple disciplines that draw a set of plans. Not all of them are aware of where they're putting trees or where they're putting objects. And so there's often conflicts we have to resolve. And so we are willing to work with them to be able to accommodate both aspects of the trees and the undergrounding to make it work. Thank you.
Can I hear from our builders? Is that something you guys would consider as working with department on what he just mentioned?
It would add substantial cost to the project that we'd prefer to direct towards the housing.
Sure.
Yeah.
The substantial costs, what if the county paid?
Right now, the surrounding neighborhood is overhead lines. So what you're asking for is for just this segment of the street and neighborhood to provide undergrounding of the lines that HECO has recently just replaced the poles for. So that sort of rework of recently installed infrastructure is something that we're wondering if it might be more efficient to leave as is and instead focus on the housing.
Okay. I hear what you're saying. You guys are Oahu based, right? In Oahu, all power lines in new developments have to be buried. Over here in Maui County, it's only residential that doesn't have to bury their power lines in new developments. So it seems to pencil out on Oahu. I understand what you guys are saying, but for some reason, Oahu can do it. And I heard my time, so thank you so much. Thank you, Chair.
You're welcome. Yes, Mr. Nunokawa.
I just wanted to add to the conversation. Act 294 is unclear. We're having trouble determining sort of the boundaries of what they were stating, but the intent of it seemed to be that for state-initiated affordable housing 201H projects, they wanted to avoid most of these larger costs that had been approved by HHFDC from getting associated to the affordable housing project. So in situations like these that could increase the cost of the project, trying to figure out a way to avoid it being associated with the project would probably be the safest if there were other funding mechanisms, if we were going to not approve the exemption that was approved of by HHFDC.
Oh, interesting.
Chair, can I follow up with that
Member
statement?
Sinensi and then Member Johnson?
I can allow Gabe to
Mr.
respond.
Johnson, go right ahead.
I just wanted to follow on that. So what can we do then? It seems like we're just, I don't want to say that we're rubber stampers. I mean, what can we do if this is this new act and this is state land, Mr. Nunakawa?
The legislature in their committee reports did talk about things like modifying of the drawings, the plans to make it conform with the counties. But the overall intent of it seemed to be to reduce things that would increase costs. And so if there were things that increase the cost of the development, figuring out other ways to offset that rather than that specific development.
Okay, let me follow up on that. So can we as a county pay so it doesn't increase their costs? I want to remind everybody we're going to August 8th anniversary here on the whole town that burned down. I'm just trying to make it more trees and underground power lines seems like a good thing to me. But if the cost is the concern, can we, the county, kick in?
I think that if we could make it pencil out for the county, I think that is something that could be done as long as the associated costs wasn't on the affordable housing. If we could figure out other ways to distribute it, I think that would be something that fit the intent of the legislature.
Thank you, Chair.
Mr. Sinensi.
Mr. Nunakawa, did you mean to use affordable housing fund when you mentioned?
I'm not sure exactly what funds would be pulled from. I think that is something that would need to be figured out, exactly where to pull the funds if that's where we wanted to go.
Okay. Or for the project team, so it looks like L1.1 is your proposed landscape plan. However, you're asking for exemption 3 because the number of plants, is that what are you being exempted? Oh, just in the right of way,
Right, because we're asking for an exemption to provide the trees in the right of way.
Okay, got it. Thank you, because you're still going to be planting along Ka'ahumanu and Kane Street. The other question was on the existing site plan, there are existing coconut trees, and I don't know how old those coconut trees are. Are you taking those down?
You mean any coconut trees that are on the site right now?
Currently. I don't know if it fits into the plan or right in the building's way.
I'm
But
not
there,
sure
it
the
looks like
demolition plan.
there are
yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 coconut trees and probably a couple big banyan trees that are currently on the site.
One moment, are you referring to a demolition plan? Yeah.
A.1b.
It looks to me that most of those trees would have to be removed or relocated. Yeah.
Or relocated.
More likely removed. The relocation might be too
Okay,
expensive.
as practitioners, I mean, the coconut tree can be reused. So, Chair, I would want to suggest maybe if the Department of OEV Resources has any recommendations on what we can do with those trees. Thank you. If they're going to be removed
Relocated.
or relocated, yes. Thank you.
Okay. So if we're gonna relocate those coconut trees, what is the cost to, I mean, is that already included in your budget? I mean, did you anticipate pulling out all these trees and then relocating them and then transporting them?
No, we did not.
Okay. Just a question.
Chair?
Yes, I hear you, Chair. Go ahead, Chair.
Okay, so as Corp Counsel mentioned, we are not allowed to add conditions as part of the new state law. And by the way, I did, during session, testify against that numerous times because I always support home rule, but it passed anyway. But the thing is, we were dealt this, and so we have to accept the fact that we cannot be adding conditions. So we can vote this up or down, but not adding conditions. But as you can see, all the conditions that are being suggested would add cost to the project. And the good part about this project is that it's for those earning 30 to 60% of median income. So that's the reason why we have to be careful about, what are the things that we insist on in terms of trying to persuade the developers to our point of view. But the actual job of this council is to vote this up or down, not add conditions, but I'm sure the developers would be open to suggestions. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Yes, Mrs. Simmons.
My apologies. I do see Director Molitao jumped on when I mentioned about the trees, if you wanted to respond.
Okay. Director Molitao, and then followed by Member Paulton. Director Molitao?
Apologies, Chair. We just made him a director. Sorry for the, we made him a presenter. Sorry for the delay.
Wasn't he already when we brought him on the other day? No?
Sometimes when they join, admin joins as attendees, and then we have to promote them to presenters. So, Director Molitao, you should be able to turn on your camera and mic now.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Having some technical difficulties here. In regards to the trees, the Kumuliu, I think it'll be a great opportunity for Halau and Kumuhula Lake to acquire them for Pahu or Lapaiki usages. There were trees that were there prior when they did the miniature golf course, and many of the Kumuhula acquired the Kumuhula Aunu from that time as well.
Okay, thank you, Director. So for the project team, should the department have need for them? From what I hear, is it okay that they use those la'au lapa'au?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Member Paulton, and then Member Johnson.
Thank you, Chair. I guess my question would be for Corporation Counsel as well as the developer on condition 3 under street sidewalks and public places. I don't think I have a problem with an exemption from Code Chapter 12.24A, landscape planting and beautification is granted and all of that, would it be possible to add in favor of the plan L1.1? And I'm not necessarily attached to any of these tree types, just more so the location and number of trees to indicate, you know, we're okay with the exemption from the right of way, but there still will be trees on property, and this is the number of trees and locations.
Yeah, we understand in the resolution language, it actually refers to the plans in the packet as being what the council is approving. So effectively, it's already, I understand it's already in the document.
Memorialized. Is that carry the force and effect of law, or is it just pretty words?
The representations made do carry some force of law. Determining what becomes a substantial change is kind of case by case. But the plans that they represent is what's represented to be built. I'm not sure if that fully answers your question, but it carries some weight, as this is what they represented would be the development.
In previous 201H projects, we've added a condition, like something about the representations made at council would be complied with or something like that. Are we prohibited from doing that from that act, that number you said? Or could it be added in the resolution that, you know, we expect that representations made would be fulfilled?
Sorry, just trying to process.
And number 17 on Granicus doesn't have the resolution. Is there a specific resolution? Like, is the resolution in the packet the one that we can go off of, or just so that we're reading off of the same resolution?
Councilmember, it would be Granicus number 3.
Which is different from the one that was in the
Yes.
packet?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
Chair,
Staff
if I
just-
may.
Yes, Mr. Molina?
Thank you. I just want to note a concern that, you know, the plans submitted are not of sufficient detail to really clarify the requirements. And the way the exemption is written so broadly leaves kind of lack of clarity. And so I would recommend that the exemption be tightened up so it is more clear what exactly the limits of the exemption being requested are. Thank you.
Also, Chair, staff would just point out that I believe the developer informed the committee today that the street plan that we've received is not the current version. So to the extent the council is being asked to approve the preliminary plans and specifications, I think we need to get the same information that everyone's referring to.
Chair, you know what? My next committee meeting, you can have it for this if we need it.
Next week, the week after,
My next one, it's all you.
on 1:30?
No, not today.
Oh,
but
that's what I was asking.
the one,
Okay.
the next one coming
Yeah.
up. It's
Thank
still
you.
in
I was just thinking
August.
about that.
Yeah.
And Carlos said that.
Because I got the team coming for this afternoon, but you
Okay.
can have it for
Okay,
next week.
What is that date, Member Paulton?
Maybe the 20th. Is that? Because, I mean, it's really hard when we look at Granicus 3 for the updated reso that's not in the packet, and we're looking at Granicus 17 for the updated conditions, and now it's like, it's very different. If we could just get a packet of what we're looking at, that's the most cleanest, updated version, instead of like,
Piecemeal.
I don't know, I mean, the whole thing is, it's very hard to make a decision when we're not all on the same page of the most updated info.
And just for your info, the exemptions and the costs are on Granicus 23. You sent that, so I just wanted to let you all know that. Yep.
Chair, may I make a clarification?
Sure.
I believe Carla was stating that the plans in the package, or I was going to be providing them updated plans. But what I was referring to was in response to a question, the actual plan that was in question was it's sheet A 3.3. That's the rendering that does not show the wall around the corner. That was the question. We have an updated rendering for this sheet, not an entire plan set change. So the landscape plan, as representative in the package you have,
That's correct.
has not changed. It's sheet A 3.3. I believe that's the one you were referring to when you said the
Landscape.
picture, the rendering did not show the wall going around to Connie Street.
It's not numbered.
Oh, you mean the very front page?
Yes, that's the one, yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
gee. There's no number on it. Yeah, I have that one. It's a chair.
Yes. Member Sugimura.
I like the idea of getting all the documents that are pertinent and then meeting on the 20th, you're right, is your next meeting day. And then we can get everything and we can all talk on the same, you know.
I would also like to give time for Director Molina, a lawyer, a few lawyers, and the developer group to iron out their things and their verbiage.
Oh, yes, very good.
B2.
Member Cook.
Thank you, Chair. So as far as the timing and the parameters of the deadline for approval to move on, this is, the council's approval is one, that I'd like to ask the developers what the next step is in county to be able to go and qualify for the LIHTC funding. Because basically, clarify and correct me, what we're doing is we're enabling this project to move forward and qualify and compete for the LIHTC funding in February.
More than
Yeah,
that.
that's correct. So this 201H approval is required for our next step, which is the SMA. And we need to have that completed so that we can submit the consolidated application in February.
So do you submit it in February?
The consolidated app is submitted in February, but a lot of these, the process and the documents that are required to be submitted, we do need completed before February so that we have time to assemble the complete package. And that includes things like costs and other certifications that the state requires with the application to be deemed acceptable.
So what kind of time frame do you need from us in this discussion of postponing a couple of weeks? I just want to have transparency that if we're asking for something that is not going to meet the time frame, then we need to be aware of it.
Ultimately, it's the 45-day timeline that this council has to either approve or deny this project, I think is the critical time that we're looking at.
Thank you, Chair.
Yes. Any other questions, members? Member Sinensi, yes.
Thank you, Chair. And I am looking at Granicus number 23, and it comes, and it looks like the valuations of all the exemptions comes out to 3,730,000, if I'm not, or no, there's some different numbers, but I was wondering, while we have Deputy Mataafa here, my question from yesterday was about using, should some of the departments, like the Department of Water that has a set budget, for those exemptions, would the Affordable Housing Fund be paying for those exemptions, the cost of those exemptions?
Mr. Nunokawa.
I think that Deputy Christina Toshikio was planning to be on Teams to address that question.
Oh, well, housing's here.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Councilmember Senensi, for the question. I believe your question is related to whether the Affordable Housing Fund could pay for some of the fees that are being asked to be waived by the developer. And the general short answer to that is yes. They can be used, the Affordable Housing Fund can be used to offset some of the costs related to fee waivers. The one in particular that comes up most often is the water system development fee. And that's crucial because I believe the Department of Water Supply is semi-autonomous and they depend on that fee to operate their department. So in particular, that one is really important, and we have worked with them in the past to provide that fee from the Affordable Housing Fund.
And then should some of the other departments request as well? I don't know if Director Agawa also mentioned. I did hear Director Stufflebean say so long that the fees are being paid. But should the other departments request that the Affordable Housing Fund be used, would they have to, what's the process? Would they have to make a formal request?
Thank you again, Chair, and thank you, Councilmember Senensi, for that question. To answer the first part of that is the department can't unilaterally provide those fees to the developer. We would have to go through some sort of competitive process, whether it's with FY27 funding application round, where the developer would apply to have those fees reimbursed through that process in Affordable Housing Fund competitively. Or what's available to the developer now is their FY26 funds, where the budget language is broad enough that they could provide that as part of their application, their grant agreement with the department to cover those fees. So there's two options that they could do, either competitively apply in FY27 or work with the $10 million that they have now to pay and offset some of those fees.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay, members, any other questions? If not, we're going to take a, Mr. Johnson, I'm
Sure,
sorry.
I have one.
Go ahead.
And I don't want to delay the members' breaks. I'll just be real quick. I have one question, and I'm going to go back to treaties. But basically, I understand what this new state law is saying, so we can't add costs. So how about, I'm curious what the builder would feel about if you guys just went before our arborist committee to discuss your trees and, the shade and listen to their recommendations. I don't think it'll cost you anything to at least just explain, explain your landscape plan to the arborist committee, which is full of experts. So what do you guys feel? Would that be something you would consider?
I think the direction we're coming from is what is the fastest way we can accomplish adding housing on Maui, and going through additional committees or additional approvals. I note that we will go through the Urban Design Review Committee, and then there's the Planning Commission, and then we do come before this council again for approval of the AHF funds. So there is a process, and it does have this committee's input and other folks as well. So it's not to say that we're proceeding without that. It is a process, and we are complying with that process.
Well, I agree with your statement that housing is important. It's important to us. I mean, we totally want to have this happen. All the things that are important to having a good landscape plan, the climate change, the actual shade. Do those trees produce enough shade? Are they creating widow makers? We don't want them to fall on people. You know, all the things that a good landscape plan has, public safety, everything. I just would hope you guys could go before and just discuss it with them and hear their recommendations. But we don't want you to go to the point where you can't make that deadline, because fast track is fast, 45 days and the clock is ticking. So I was hoping you guys would at least consider that and just, see the overall picture of what's happening. Okay.
Chair, if I may, this is Public
Yes.
Works.
Yes, Mr. Molina?
I guess to kind of carry on Member Johnson's concern, perhaps a question to the applicant is if they can specify the extent of their exemption. Again, that's one of the concerns here is these broad exemptions without sufficient detail in the application to really determine what is being asked to be waived. I have heard that they do intend to provide trees, but when they ask for a blanket exemption from the requirements, it's hard to know what exactly they really intend to be doing. If it's as simple as following the county planting plan and just not putting it in the road, that's reasonable, and I don't think necessarily has to go through the arborist committee again. But if it's beyond that, then that should be clarified. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Molina. Okay. Seeing as how we have,
Recess.
I heard somebody. Shirley, did you have a question? No?
No, I was just saying recess.
Okay. Recess, said Shirley, till 46 p.m. AM. Oh, yeah. Okay. I still got it here. HLU committee is now in recess till 10:47. Oh, just go to 10:50. Recess. the HLU committee, recess committee meeting of August 5th is now being reconvened today at 10:55 a.m. One, two, three. Okay, we're here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, there's 7 of us. 6. Yep, 6. Okay. So thank you, members, for that break. And I think we left off with, there was a recommendation that I think we're going to really take to heart, is for the proponent and the departments to get together and to work it out and come as close as they possibly can come to some kind of an agreement. Because if you leave it up to us, we're going to end up somewhere else probably. But if Mr. Schnell, you and Public Works, and I think, who else? Housing and Fire and Transportation, right? Water, but I think we already resolved water. Who else? Planning. And anyone else that I haven't read off, please, Mr. Schnell, are you able to meet with them before the August 20th meeting? Because what I'm looking for is something, so we post a week before so that all the members can get whatever it is that they need to get, so that they can preview it, so that when they come, they're pretty well equipped. I feel like we weren't well equipped because we kept getting things last minute, and we had to get revised things, and we weren't all looking at the same document. So I'd like us all to be able to see if you all can work on on the exemptions collectively together and come up with something that when we get it, I'd like to be able to say, members, let's go through this 1, 2, 3, and actually make a motion to approve it or amend it or whatever it is we need to do. But so that meeting on the 20th is going to be probably looking at whatever work that you've worked with the departments, so that we can just say yes or no. Does that sound right, members? Does it sound like something we could do? Member Paulton?
I thought that planning was okay with things, and we were okay if planning was okay.
I'm not sure if that was, so I wanted to just
Double check.
have them, right, reiterate, because you know what Ms. Molina said a couple of times today? It's the details, right? And look, when I think about that, I always think about the devil is in the details. I don't want to go chasing the devil, but I mean.
If that's the case, if planning was okay, I just would like OEV resources to.
Yes.
I mean, also be like, maybe they're not relocating the trees, but if the trees are getting cut down, if they can come and collect or distribute
And how
the
does that work,
trees,
right?
as well as just double check on the name of the property. I did read what it said, but it seemed like it was mostly about Kama Mahiai's story, that he was an excellent person. So just double check on the name of the place and how the trees get distributed in a way that doesn't add time or money.
Right.
For OEB resources, just adding that to your list.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was going to ask, what about the trees? Are those the only trees we have? I mean, don't we have a better selection of trees than what the 4, right?
The existing trees.
Yeah, the Manele tree and.
Oh, I was talking for OEB resources, the existing trees, how they get disposed of.
Oh, yeah.
But
yeah.
I mean, I don't know anything about the best species of trees. That's not me.
But anyway, yes. Member Sugimura.
I think that what is really feels like a hang-up is this new Act 294, and what it means in terms of what we're saying versus, I
But we can.
I think we all want to have a housing project. And the conditions that we're talking about, we don't want to add cost to it. So can that discussion happen, including us, I guess, once the department speaks with the developers as to what the impact is to the project? And the biggie, of course, is, you know, how do you even incorporate the DAGS project, which is not part of this project, but may have some implications? So I don't even know if we want to do that, but there may be some, you know, part of it that touches.
Yeah,
But HHFTC would know, I think.
yes, they would. Okay, members, I asked.
Chair?
Yes. Mr. Johnson?
I'm
Yes.
sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I also would, thanks for recognizing me. I also like to, and I didn't hear if you mentioned it, forgive me if you did, but also bring, have the builder speak to Department of Housing in regards to those affordable housing funds.
Yes.
And what's the best route that everybody can get together. And because if that act says we can't add costs, well, then we pay. And the Department of Housing has a affordable housing fund. So I'd like for them to kind of reach out and Chair, it sounds like we're kind of wrapping up until next meeting.
You are
So
correct.
I have a few questions.
Yes.
So I have a few questions that I don't want to delay the wrap up. So would you allow me just to read into the record, like a few of my questions, and they don't have to answer them. I'll just let you guys know that this is what some of my concerns and questions, comments were. And I'll just go through the list and I'll be done with it if that's okay with you, Chair.
Oh, absolutely. And we'll have other members do the same thing too, if they have any other comments.
Yeah, because
Go ahead, Mr.
I don't want to give them like some curveballs in the next meeting, like, you know, so give this something to think on until we meet again. So thank you, Chair. This one is about your guys' water. Will you be adopting all of the Department of Water Supply conservation recommendations in their letter dated April 30th, 2025? And that's Exhibit G, page 8. What are your best management practices for stormwater management? What alternative water sources are you looking into? And this one's for housing. This is a question for you guys. Of course, it's about housing. We need all of the AMIs in housing. And why did you change it from 100%, 60% AMI and below? And are you eligible? Are you able to consider 80% AMI? And I know HHFTC and Ikaikohana have kind of working on things like that. Maybe a few can go in the 80s. And the next question is, how long is the ground lease? That's an important question because it's attached to affordability. And the environmental question I had was, I know the project is next to the new transit hub, but what other elements are you incorporating to enhance the use of multiple types of transportation to reduce carbon emissions? What energy efficient technologies are you using? And what sustainable recycling or low emission materials in construction and manufacturing are you using? You know, I know it's LEED certified, which I applaud you guys for that. And it goes back to my idea that if you guys are, putting in trees, remember you do a bus hub that pushes out a lot of that fumes, and trees are a great way to filter that from the community. So just once again, as I am pounding on the trees idea, but it's important. And then will you be installing hawk beacons and raised crossroads as suggested in Exhibit G, and that's page 8. So those were my questions, Chair. I didn't want to delay the meeting, but I wanted to put them out there so the builder can at least know where I'll be coming from on our next meeting. Thank you, Chair.
Good bunch of questions. Member Sinensi, and we're going to come around this way.
Okay, thank you, Chair. I just had one to Member Sugimura's a comment about DAGs. I don't know if it's appropriate to maybe have a MOU or what's the partnership between? I know it's all one big project, but maybe some of the details would be, the timeline for the office project, as well as, some comments to the permanent evacuation route through the site. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Member Sugimura?
So, I agree with what Member Senenci is saying, and I see there's Mr. Kim here from Architects Hawaii, who represents DAG, so maybe he has something he wants to add to it.
Mr. Kim?
Thank you. I just want to point out that, yeah, we can be there as well for AHL representing DAGs for the next meeting to answer any questions that you might have.
Okay, good.
That was all. Thank you.
Oh, Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Senenci?
While we have Mr. Kim, sorry, maybe Mr. Kim, just general timelines. It was suggested that it might be 30 years out that the project get. So we're just looking at the timeline and if you've got, the discussion went around the evacuation route through the site to Vavao Street. And in the interim,
Okay.
how can that be used as more of a temporary site while the Civic Center is either being planned or built? Thank you.
Yep. Yes, I could provide a quick overall schedule for the project. We're going to be going to funding request in early January next year to 2026, and we're going through the permitting process by next year as well, which we're planning to have it approved in fall of 2027, and hopefully if everything comes through, the occupancy will start in 2030, maybe perhaps summer. And to answer your question on the access on Vival Street is needed for the whole project. Again, I think we mentioned yesterday, the EA, Environmental Assessment Plan, shows the access, not just the fire lane on Vival, because we only have one access to this project. And that would create a lot of traffic and circulation issues, not just for DAGs and the offices, but for the whole project as a whole. So we, kind of mentioned that yesterday and wanted to continue to stress that we would need that access lane for the whole project for those reasons.
Thank you, Chair.
And we also met with the fire county as well previously to confirm that lane, whether it was a fire lane or access. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Member Paulton?
Thank you. And to add on to your list of departments besides OEV resources, MEMA said that they have software to do evacuation modeling, given the senior center, senior housing across the street, the low-income housing, and then the waterfront apartments at Kahului, as well as Maui Beach Hotel, Maui Seaside Hotel, if they could run some evacuation modeling with the parameters that they need along with the developers. I'm also, some of my questions regarding how many ADA units are planned, and if we're not adhering to the county's parking plan, how many ADA parking, if they plan to comply, I think, with Chapter 16 of the EV parking requirements. I think that means that it would be EV ready, as well as any plans for multimodal charging stations for e-bikes or scooters or things like that, since there's less parking stalls. We already covered laundry. Yeah, I think those are my questions for the 20th and department that they could work with. Just given the evacuation situations the last 2 weeks, what the modeling looks like, given the parameters of the developer and MEMA software.
Good idea.
Okay, very good. And I don't see Chair Lee. I don't know what happened to him. My picture fell off. I think I have to rejoin.
All
Yes,
the,
Member
like,
Paulton.
A3.3, the updated, if we have all the updated documents, and then when you start the meeting, you say we're Granicus 3
Yeah.
resolution, Granicus 17 conditions, or so that at the start of the meeting, we're all looking
You're all
at
in
the
this
most current stuff.
documents. Okay. My prayer is that we'll only have one document, the one with the exemptions. But yes, thank you, Member Paulton, we'll make sure we have that done. Okay. So my hope, Mr. Chanel, is that you'd be able to get with the departments and be able to submit to us at least by the 13th or the 14th, James? Because we post a week before, right?
Chair, it just depends on how the committee wants to approach the August 20th meeting. We could, if you intend to post, yes, posting would be on August 14th. But if the intent is to just recess this meeting, then there's no posting deadline per se for the 20th.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure that we got something in the hands of the members so that they can at least brief themselves too on that. Maybe things will go smoothly. Yes, Member Paulton.
I think I have a question for Mr. Kruger. So if she recesses this meeting, could she still upload documents the 3 days before?
Chair, yes, I believe that applies, and as well as, if we're receiving things from the developer,
Yes.
we are able to upload that to Granicus as well. But I defer to the committee attorney in case I misstated anything.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I believe our updated document transmittal policy is in progress. And based on the update to the Sunshine Law this year, our understanding is it now requires 3 working days out from the meeting
Oh, good.
to transmit board packets. So if something is coming from you, Chair, we would consider that to be within the 3 day. 3 days is when we would shoot to have things uploaded. As James mentioned, if it comes from the developer or outside source, then we can upload that at any time.
Okay.
And is the 3 working days, it would be Friday for Wednesday?
Yes, that's correct, Chair. Oh,
Weekends.
wait, I'm sorry. Friday is a holiday, so I believe it would be Thursday.
What
Thank you,
Friday's
Chair.
a holiday?
Admissions?
No,
Big
what
state.
Friday?
Friday, August 15th.
Oh, the 15th. Oh,
I guess then in that case, my vote would be for recess. If everyone else is amenable.
So we'll get the documents on the 14th.
If it's from the chair, if it's from the developer, whenever they can upload it.
yeah. I mean, it's the same thing, like if you all have thought of questions after you leave here, you do the same thing. You send it to them, they can send it on, and they can get it back.
Does the developer have a preference as to recess or adjourn right now?
It's how
Yeah,
fast
I was
the
looking at the calendar, and I appreciate the clarifications of timelines and dates, because looking at the calendar, today's the 6th. The next hearing or meeting is on the 20th. Yeah, I'm still not clear on when we have to provide documents for the committee.
The developer could upload at any time, I think they said. And there would be no deadline if we recess. But if we adjourn, we need to post 6 working days in advance or something.
I see the difference, okay. But I'm thinking the committee doesn't want to get all the documents the day before the hearing, so.
Oh, yeah, no, we don't.
Definitely.
So, yeah,
So we can get,
some timeline would be good, some guidance on that would be appreciated, yeah.
I mean, Thursday works for me because then I can read it on the weekend because we might have other committees on Monday, Tuesday. But it's been known to happen the night before
Okay.
or the morning of.
I saw that there was mention to meet with a lot of departments. So meeting with, I don't know if that would be one meeting with all the departments gathered or individually, but we would have basically a week to meet with all these departments. So I think we can try our best, and we can hopefully, especially Public Works, we can get a meeting with Public Works ASAP. But,
Would it help us to rank the departments?
yeah, that would be super helpful, yeah.
Okay,
So
let's
Public
rank them.
Works is the most,
Yeah, Public Works,
and then maybe
Housing?
housing and water.
Water, Planning.
To me, planning
You don't
is
think
last because they said they were okay, and if they're okay, they said they were okay, right, with the exemptions? Was there one that they had a situation
I
with?
think the planning director was specifically talking about the issue about the community plan designation. Like I said, I don't want to mischaracterize what she said, but I
Okay.
think she said she was generally all right with the project in general.
Yeah, we got
As soon as
housing.
you can.
Yeah, I think Public Works, housing, water, situation are the top three. And then everything else is somewhat important, but, do your best. Yeah. Maybe we can meet with OEV resources and
And work that out.
work that out. Because if the tree gets cut down, you don't care if they take it, right?
No, that's fine, or if they want to transport it or relocate it, that's fine also, yeah.
Okay, so I don't know that you need to meet with them.
And soon.
Maybe for me, of those after the top three, MEMA would be high up there too. But they're fairly busy. I can't even meet with them.
But
when
at
I-
some point in time, they would have to meet with OEV when they decide when they're gonna cut it down so that they'd be prepared or set up to figure out where they're going to move. I mean, those
And the
trees are
cost.
tall. They're like, I don't know, 100 feet tall maybe or
Yeah.
taller. I mean, I was watching them the other day as they were all leaning during the wind, yeah?
It's by your
I'm
house.
thinking, oh, and then the wind came back the other way. I was just mesmerized. I was watching it like that from the mall, but they're very tall, and that's a lot of trees. 7, right? You said 7 tall coconut trees, and all that coconut
All the old kind.
branch.
I think, just to add, he would just maybe know the schedule when
Yeah.
you're gonna be, taking them down. That way, in case they wanna prep,
Call them or something.
protocol, whichever, then they can just,
Yes,
know your schedule.
yeah. And there's a protocol for that, so that might do a little interruption with your day, but, okay. Anyone else? Any other questions?
Oh, Chair,
Yes,
if I could,
Yes.
I just wanted to clarify, I'm trying to double check on whether the 3 working day prior guideline applies also to recessed meeting.
mm-hmm,
But I think we should just plan on that conservatively for the time being. Also, I wanted to let you know that I did hear from Director Molina, Director of Public Works, and he said that he can be available to meet right after this meeting with the applicant in his
Perfect.
conference room.
Oh, good,
perfect.
good, good.
Okay,
Yay,
number one
progress.
priority. Thank you. Okay, members, so I'm going to recess this meeting
Okay,
to the 20th.
good.
And so it is now 11:18 on August 6th. The HLU committee meeting is now in recess until August 20th, 9 a.m. Same time, same space, same Microsoft links, and here in the chamber. Anything else?
Yes, 9 o'clock a.m., August 20th. Same in-person location is here in the council chamber and same Microsoft Teams meeting link.
Okay, thank you very much. The HLU committee meeting of August 6th, 2025 is now in recess.